Hey y'all, this is Kim with Creative Escapades, and today I'm going to show you one of the things that I like to do with my leftover resin. I have this metal casting ring that I use with my fusible glass when I have pieces that I want to melt together, and I want to do it in a circle to maybe make a vase or something. But today I'm going to use it to pour resin into, just so that I can get kind of a round shape. And this plastic that I have is plastic that's left over, or that I've taken off of a canvas, and I always save the plastic because it is really great to use with resin. Once the resin cures, it will peel right off, and it also leaves a texture with your resin that when you pour it onto this, which I kind of like for what I'm doing here. So I've got this leftover Stone Coat Countertop Art Coat resin, and I also have these little trimmings that I cut off of my previous piece for the oval textured tray, and this is just pieces of the little cellophane that is covered with the colored resin that I used in the Purple Galaxy and the Wild Jasmine. So these are really fine pieces, so I think it's going to be fine. It might leave some raised texture on the piece, and I'm really good with that. So I'm going to also add in some of this Primary Elements Bling Violet Sparkle. I'm having difficulties with my camera focusing when I want to show you something up close, but this stuff is wonderful. It just leaves such a gorgeous sparkly look to your resin. And it doesn't take a whole lot of this. So just going to use a little dash of it. It's not even measuring it. I'm just using my popsicle stick to put some in there. And then we'll give it a good stir. And it blends in really, really easily. It doesn't leave little clumps or anything. You don't have to worry about finding that in your resin after you poured it out. Blends right in really good. So I think it's going to look really great. So we're going to pour it in here. And this is just one of the things that I do. Sometimes I just take the cellophane and pour the leftover resin directly on there. And then once it gets to the stage in curing where it doesn't flow anymore, then I can take that whole sheet of plastic and then drape it over any kind of bottle or glass or anything. I've even used the mason jar lids to drape it over to get a bowl-like design. And then you let it cure, and then you have a cute little dish. So it's sort of like a free-form resin sculpture, basically. Getting it all out of there. Don't want to waste any resin. Then I'm just going to use my stick here to push it out to the edge. And I know it's not going to be just a perfect circle, and I'm okay with that. I really kind of like the uneven edge look, and you'll see what I'm talking about at the end of the video once I have taken this off the mold. But at this point you can add some other design elements. You can put some of the acrylic crystals around the edges for added design. You can use vase filler, crushed glass, just anything that you want to use to add another textured design to your piece. But I just want to make sure that there's no blank places where I don't have resin onto the plastic. And I'm also using the stick here to push down any of those little pieces of cellophane down into the resin. I want to make sure they're covered as much as possible. All right, I think we're good right there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to let this rest here until it gets to a curing stage that I can actually move it and it not flow. Just going to do a little bit of heat in here, not a whole lot. You have to be careful when you're using this plastic because this is shrink wrap actually, and if the heat gets onto the shrink wrap or the plastic, it can draw it up, or you can actually burn a hole into it. So here it is. I have taken it and draped it over. This is one of those little Yoplait yogurt glass jars, and it's perfect little mold for making a little trinket dish. And I've just laid it over there, and I'm going to let it sit here. It is still at a sticky stage, and I'm just going to let it cure the rest of the way right here. And I'm trying to get it sort of even. I'm not too worried about the dish being perfectly even. I just need to make sure that it has a good flat surface on the bottom so that it will set and not rock. And we'll let this set and cure right here. Using my popsicle stick just to get a little bit of a, kind of want a ruffly look around the edges. So now I think this is ready to take off of the plastic, and I will show you how easy that works. Love the way it's looking. It's really cool. Here we go. So it just comes right off of the plastic. And there it is. A little cute trinket dish. And sometimes you have to trim up the edges a little bit. I just use my X-Acto knife when I do. So that is just one way that I like to use leftover resin and turn it into something useful and cute. I like it. So if you've enjoyed this video, please click like and share. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe and ring that bell next to it for future notifications. And I want to thank you for joining me on this one. Hope to see you in my next creative escapade. Bye-bye.